So I'm going to be demoing a screen reader today. I'm going to be showing you desktop screen reader, getting into NVDA and some mobile screen readers. I'm going to be jumping between a browser and my slides. So I may just stay in this view if that's okay, because that'll make it a little easier for me to transition back and forth. Um, okay. So yeah, I'm Cotter. I'm with the NC Department of Information Technology. I work with Amy, and we do accessibility support for the state. So let's talk about screen readers. What is a screen reader? Kind of a basic question. I'm sure a lot of people in this meeting already know, but a screen reader is assistive technology. You've probably heard that term before. Assistive technology that assists people with consuming technology, consuming content, using stuff, using software. So the screen reader itself is software, and a screen reader is used by people who are blind or have low vision. Those are the main people using it. And it could also be used just to test content for digital accessibility. And that's what I'm getting into a little bit today. So you can have a screen reader on a mobile device. I'm not sure if you knew that. Hopefully you knew that. So there's desktop screen readers and there's mobile screen readers. Desktop screen readers, Windows has, you can get NVDA. There's another one called JAWS, and there's a built-in screen reader called Narrator. Macs have their own built-in screen reader called VoiceOver. And then for the mobile screen readers, there's iOS VoiceOver and Android Talkback. Now, as far as the usage goes, WebAIM, this website called webaim.org, does this somewhat annual survey, and they've surveyed about 1,500 people, and they found that in the latest test, NVDA was actually number one, the most used screen reader, and then second to that, JAWS, and then VoiceOver, and then Narrator. This is the desktop usage. And another thing that's important here is that a lot of users will use multiple screen readers to do their work, to browse the web, not just one. Sometimes a screen reader might work better on another site, or another application. I've heard that JAWS works better in Excel, for example. Now, for the mobile usage, most people who are blind or low vision like iPhones, maybe because probably because VoiceOver, they like VoiceOver better. So in iOS, VoiceOver ranks much higher than Android with the screen reader community. Um, and as far as how do you get the screen readers, somebody's asking in chat. So NVDA is a free download. JAWS, you have to purchase it. OS X, you just have to turn it on. It's built in, VoiceOver is built into the Mac, and Narrator, again, just have to turn it on. It's built into Windows. So today I'm going to be highlighting NVDA primarily. And of course, when you're installing software, just always make sure you comply with your organization's approval process. Loving all the chat. I might miss something, so Amy, feel free to reply in there or bring something to my attention. So let's go over some NVDA settings. The most important, the first setting you really should make after you install it is to turn off this feature that causes the screen reader to speak as you hover with your mouse. For a user who's sighted and just using, the main audience for this presentation is someone who's not using this to survive, to live, to interact with the web. It's really for people, this presentation is really for people who are kind of using this as a tool to test. So my advice, if you have vision and you don't need a screen reader and you're comfortable using a mouse, to turn this feature off. And maybe now is a good time to demo to hop into the demo, and I may not have shared with sound. So let me stop sharing and then share again with sound. Just here. All right, let me browse, come over here. So to launch NVDA, I already have it installed. I'm just going to launch it from my start menu. And in a second here, you should hear it speak. Did you hear that little chime? Got a thumbs up or got a hand up.
Search button.
Are you guys hearing that? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool.
List with 6 items. Find a job in NC link.
So this is the screen reader speaking. This is NVDA.
Link. Find my tax. Start a business link.
And so if I
NVDA menu.
If I open the preferences
menu. NVDA settings.
Here's the
general,
preferences.
Normal.
And the
Editing
under mouse, enable mouse track turned off. So let me turn it on just to show you.
Get to the preferences.
To get to the preferences, you can on my other monitor in the menu on the lower right, that little hide show pop-up thing, NVDA appears in there,
NVDA,
and I right-clicked it and went to preferences. There's another shortcut to open the preferences where you just press Insert In, letter N for NVDA. So, so that opened the preferences. Thank you for that question. And let me turn on mouse tracking. This is a default setting, so this is why I'm telling you to turn it off. It's the default setting. So I'm going to apply that.
NVDA,
and now
NVDA settings.
See how
mouse.
I'm moving my mouse, and every time I move my mouse, it speaks.
Get unemployment, public meetings, get unemployment help.
And that's an awesome feature for someone who's low vision, right? If you have low vision, you can see fairly a little bit. And so you might use a mouse just because the world is designed for mouse users. So this is a cool feature for those types of users. But for someone who can see just fine and uses a mouse to do other work, and they're just using a screen reader for secondary testing, I think this feature is very annoying because, as you can see, I just hovered over. I'm trying to talk to you, and it interrupted me. So I like turning it off.
Categories, list alt plus, present. Slide.
Let me. I guess I have to. Hey, it's going to continue to interrupt me. Yes, Amy.
Cisco Secure.
Nicole
NVDA.
asks, when she opens NVDA, all she gets is a welcome screen. She doesn't have a window that allows her to access any preferences.
Well, once you say okay, so after you install it, once you say okay to that welcome screen, you should dismiss it, and then yeah, someone just put a screenshot. Yeah, insert in opens a little thing, and then you can choose preferences. But I can probably help you with that later, but let me keep moving through this presentation. I may have to keep turning this thing on and off. Well, I'll try not to. Okay, I'll just try not to change the screen too much. Okay, so here's another thing with the screen reader. You can change the voice. You can make it sound more natural, or you can go with the robotic sound if that's what you like. Now, the reason that the robotic sound is a thing is because it works really well for super fast speech rates. So for someone, imagine someone who uses a screen reader as their primary tool, they're able to use it at insane rates, insane speech rates, super, super fast. And these like robotic sounding voices just it's easier to hear. It's easier to understand at those high rates. Now I like a more natural sound because I don't use it at a super high rate. So I choose this synthesizer called Windows One Core Voices, and I like the Zira voice. It's sort of like a female sounding voice. I think David might be the default. For whatever reason, I just like Zira.
Separator unavailable.
And that's the voice you hear.
Pane.
Okay, let me kill NVDA real quick while I'm going on here. So you can also adjust the speech rate in that speech setting menu, and this little slider can crank it up or slow it down if you need a little bit more time to understand what it's saying. Another thing that you might like to do is to turn on visual highlighting. So when you're navigating with the web, you can kind of see where the screen reader is in the navigation, the web or anything, in any software. The setting that I like is I like just highlight browse mode cursor. I don't turn on system focus and navigator object, and I'll explain why real quick. So let me jump back to the browser. I guess I got to turn NVDA back on. So when I'm browsing the web, when I'm doing accessibility testing, I want to see the visual indication of focus. I want to see what the software developer created for how they styled the visual indication of focus. And so the screen reader NVDA, when the screen reader is running, if I have those other settings on, if I have highlight system focus on, it kind of hijacks what the designer chose. And so then I don't know, I can't detect if it's like a problem with the web designer or not. So I just like highlight browse mode cursor, and this is what it does.
Home and
So when I put focus here, that blue highlight that you see is coming from this NCGov website.
Search button search.
Now that yellow there, that's the screen, that's NVDA. I guess it's a little funny with this button.
List with
But
6
okay,
items. Find it.
here's a better way to show it. So this button here has this white highlight that's coming from the web page, but that yellow, that's NVDA. So that is the setting called highlight browse mode cursor. And as
Get
I
unemployment
tab
help
around, I
find
can see that.
find
And now
unclaimed
let me
property.
get to a paragraph of text.
Link public out of list main featured. Heading level 2 in the spotlight.
Sometimes that focus can be a little funny, like with when the page scrolls. But if I go down, if I arrow down,
a few highlights from around the state of North Carolina.
Block of text, and if I arrow
link
down
heading
again,
level 3 join team North Carolina. Link we are seeking link Carolina State Government.
And you can kind of, so I'm just pressing arrow down and I'm going through the text. That's how a screen reader user is reading it. And I can see like in one breath,
link
I call them breaths. I don't know if that's a technical term, but in one breath, the screen reader is going to say everything from we
link Carolina State Government.
To that. I
link we
think.
are link heading.
So let me arrow down and just listen.
Link we are seeking experienced professionals interested in a career in public service to join North.
See how it stopped at North? And I kind of think like it took a breath, and then to hear the rest, you arrow down.
Link Carolina State Government. Explore current opening.
Don't totally know why screen readers do that, but maybe it's just because that's the amount of information someone can kind of understand in kind of a breath. But anyway, so I like that setting a lot. Highlight browse mode cursor. Now here's something that is a little bit more advanced, so hang tight for a second. So as a web tester, I only really need NVDA to speak in browsers and Adobe Acrobat. And so you can actually do that. You can set these things called configuration profiles, and you can make it not speak in everything else and only speak in a few software. And you know, I chose Acrobat in my browsers. There's instructions on how to do that, or chat with an AI bot. It'll get you to do that. I'm not going to get into how to do that. I just want you to know that that's a thing you can do because I find it very useful. Okay, so for general navigation, these are I'm gonna present some key strokes for you guys, some shortcut keys, and I'm trying not to overwhelm you because there are hundreds of these. Imagine every day you want ways to dig into your content. You want all different kinds of ways to navigate. So I'm just going to kind of try to keep it to the simple stuff that you really just need to use as a tester. The control key is the most important thing that you need to know. Anytime the screen reader is talking, you can tap that control key and it'll just mute. It'll just stop the speech. And so that's very helpful. For example, in this presentation, when I'm going back and forth and it's interrupting me, I just hit control and it stops. I'll kind of demonstrate that real quick.
Home and celebrate.
I just press control right there and it stopped. And let me tab again.
Start exploring NC today.
And I press control again and it stops. So that's a great thing to know. Then arrow down, arrow up. That's how you just read the items on the page. It's just reading from top to bottom. If you think about the way that you need to think about a web page or a document is just linear, like going down an elevator. You're starting at the top and you're going down with the arrow down, 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 and you should hit every element in the focus order there. And sometimes a screen reader user needs to read character by character, and that's what the left and right keys do. So for example, at the bottom of this page,
read more detail from the content info landmark NC. State of North Carolina.
Right here, this contact us, it's in all caps, right? And when I go up, I'm gonna right now I have focus on this button. I'm gonna press arrow up to get focus and make it read that heading.
Contact info heading level 2 contact US.
Contact US. So it's really contact us, right? But the screen reader said contact US. And so if I use arrow keys, I can hear character by character to know, okay, what was that? Like sometimes that's what a screen reader will, user will do. Like I didn't, was that an act or something? And they'll just read character by character to try to understand it.
ONTACT space US.
So then I can know, oh, okay, that's contact us. Maybe here they'd probably put that together, but depending on the acronym, that could be confusing. And this is another reason to not do all caps. Unfortunately, we have that right on nc.gov because a screen reader interprets that as US, not U lowercase s, which would probably make it say us. Okay, and then there's the tab and shift tab navigation. And what that does is that just moves focus to the next interactive element, the next focusable element, the next tabbable element. And that would be like buttons, links, form fields for the most part. So let me jump back here. So if I
State of North Carolina.
So right now I have focus on this button. And if I press shift tab, I'm going to go to the whatever. Well, let me press tab from here. I'm going to press tab and I'll probably go to that footer. There's those links in the footer.
Network menu navigation landmark list.
I did. And so I'm going to press shift tab and now I'll go back to the button.
State of North Carolina directory link.
Oh, it's actually a link. Good to know. It's not a button, it's a link. Visually, it looks like a button, but the screen reader said link. So to them, it's a link. Now, if I press shift tab, I'm not going to go to this. Oh, whoops. I'm not going to go to this text right here because that is not an interactive, focusable, tabbable element. It's just screen text. Let's see where I go if I press shift tab.
Back to top navigation landmark,
So
back to top arrow graphic, same page.
So I went over here to this back to top graphic, back to top button. And if I press shift tab again, I'll skip a whole bunch of stuff and get to the previous focusable.
Main landmark, learn more about North Carolina.
It's that learn more button. So that's the main way that you navigate, just kind of general navigation. Now here's something that's important to know with screen readers. Screen readers have these different navigation modes. And NVDA calls it browse mode or focus mode. So browse is used when you are just generally reading the page, browsing the page, going through the headings, listening to the paragraphs. You can still listen to the links and the buttons and the graphics and stuff like that. But then when you get to a form field, it's going to switch into focus mode. And I can demonstrate that with a form that I have here.
Home NC.
This is a pizza order form, pizza by the slice. So let me just press arrow down to start reading this screen, to start reading this page.
Main landmark, star your name.
Okay, and I guess for some reason, I'm not really sure why it skipped the heading, but if I go back.
Heading level 2 pizza by the slice.
Okay, now I heard the heading. So I'm going to arrow down from here.
Star your name.
I got to that asterisk.
Edit required.
And I got to this form field.
Star number of slices.
And I got to this number of slices. So it actually did not switch automatically into forms mode for me. I'm just reading the page.
Spin button required, editable 1. Drink.
I guess I was wrong about that.
Combo box collapsed, none. Grouping toppings, checkbox not checked. Topping out of drink.
Now, if I want to force forms mode, once I'm ready to start interacting with this, I can either press tab to get to the first focusable element.
Main landmark.
Okay, I guess because I had focus on this text box and I pressed tab, it took me to the next element. So I can go back.
Your name, edit required, blank.
But I want you to hear one more time. There was a little sound effect, and let me maybe refresh the page to see what would happen.
New order, pizza by the slice. Star number of slices.
I'm back into browse mode.
Edit required. Star your name. Edit star your name.
And Okay, now I have focus on the star. If I press tab now, it should go to that first text box. And listen for this sound effect.
Main landmark.
You hear
Your
that
name
little sound effect? That tells me that the mode's switching. And now if I press arrow down,
blank, blank.
I hear blank. I don't go to the text because I'm in forms mode. And if I want to leave that mode, I can press insert space. And now that took me to reading mode,
Star number of
browse mode,
slices.
and now
Spin button
I can
train
move
combo
back.
grouping.
So kind of technical, kind of a lot, kind of a little bit advanced, but it's just something that you should know that there's these two modes. There's this browse mode and there's this focus mode. And it is going to become important in just a minute here. But let me just talk about, for some crazy reason, these screen readers all call their modes different things. NVDA calls it browse mode, focus mode. JAWS calls virtual cursor, forms mode, narrator, scan mode, input mode, voiceover calls it voiceover, cursor, interaction mode. Whew. Okay. So, and then there's kind of another mode, which is sort of a pass-through application mode. And again, I'm not going to get too deep into the details here, but if you're a developer and you know anything about role equals application, that's what triggers this mode. Basically, what this mode does is when a screen reader user comes into a container that's role application, it says, okay, no more keys for me. I'm going to let every key that you press pass through and get to the browser. I'm not going to intercept any keys. And sometimes that's really useful for custom interfaces that weren't built with ARIA or native HTML elements. Okay, and then just a couple notes about the modes here. Sometimes the modes do change depending on what has focus. I know JAWS will change modes automatically sometimes. And then you'll hear the sound effects play when you're switching modes. And then users can change modes manually. I did that. I pressed insert spacebar to kind of toggle between those modes. And then you may be asking, what's the deal? Why insert? Well, screen readers have these things called screen reader modifier keys. And what these are is it's like a way to pass a special instruction to the screen reader. And usually if you were to go Google a list of like screen reader shortcuts for your screen reader, you would probably see a list that said like NVDA plus letter, JAWS plus letter, voiceover plus letter. And what that's saying is it's saying the modifier key plus the letter. By default, NVDA sets the modifier key to insert. I think JAWS does too. But a user can change that. And sometimes that's necessary because on some keyboards there is no insert key. On my keyboard there isn't. I have an insert and I have a caps lock. Sometimes users like to use caps lock for that purpose. So just want you to know that if you ever see like a shortcut that says like NVDA plus key, that's what they're talking about. It's usually the insert key unless you changed it. And going back here, so to toggle modes, it's insert spacebar, right? That's that modifier key plus spacebar. All right, now here's another important thing to know. You can pull up this list of elements when you're looking at a web page or a document, and that command is insert F7. So that's a good one to know, very good one to know. So let me do it on the NC.gov homepage here. I got my screen reader running.
Back to top now.
And I'm going to press insert F7. Okay, it showed up on my other monitor, so let me drag it over. So this is an element list, and it helps me know, it helps the screen reader user know kind of just what's the gist, what's on this page. Like, are there links, are there headings, are there form fields, are there buttons, are there landmarks? And so you can go through here with the screen reader and just browse just the links. Just here's all the links. Here's all the headings, and you can see the navigation. And when you're going through this list with the screen reader, you'll hear the heading level. And then you can move to that element. So if I say, let's go to this in the spotlight heading, and then I say move to,
Main landmark in the spotlight heading level 2.
So now it put focus there. Unfortunately, I don't see the highlight. But if I press arrow down, I should navigate in the spotlight headings. So let me arrow down, and I should hear a few highlights.
A few highlights from
Yeah.
around the state of North Carolina.
So that's a very useful way that screen reader users navigate, quickly browse, like what's the gist, what's on the screen. So this is why headings are so important, guys. If you don't have headings on your page, screen reader users just can't quickly navigate. They got to go through line by line by line by line by line, figuring out what's there. So this gives you a way to just get to what you want fast. And then with this links list, if you look through this all the text that it found from the links, right? So this is a good reason why you shouldn't just say click here as your link text, or here, or more info, because imagine, if you had a whole bunch of more infos, that's what it would look like in this list, and you probably wouldn't want to go click on that link or activate that link because you don't know what more info it's going to be about. So then you'd have to probably select it, move to it, and then arrow up and down to find the to read what's around it. Okay, more info about what, and get that context. So that's a good reason why we don't like, we want our links to describe their purpose. Form fields, same thing. I can show a list of all the form fields. Let me do it on my pizza form.
New order.
So over here on my pizza form page, insert F7. Here's the list. I only have one heading here, which is not bad. I mean, if you only have one heading, you only have one heading. But let me go to form fields, and here's all my form fields. So I can see, I could jump to one quickly if I wanted to, without having to fumble through the page. I just use this NVDA menu. And all the screen readers have this type of elements list control. Here's the buttons, and here's the landmarks. Landmarks I only have one main element on this form. Over on the NC page, see how many landmarks we got. We have a banner, which is usually a header, site header, a complementary, which sometimes is another banner, a main, a navigation, a couple navigations, and there's navigations nested within this site header. So that's the landmarks. And so, yeah, it would give me a way to quickly jump to a footer. Where's that accessibility link? Oh, let me check out this content info. That's a footer. I'll move to that.
Content info landmark
NC.gov
heading level.
And now
Copy heading content links navigate list with link web visit link visited link accessibility.
Oh, there's the accessibility link. Let me go report an issue, for example. All right. Should I pause here and address any questions in the chat? Amy?
I got to tell you, I love our community. There's a lot of conversations happening, and they're providing a lot of good information between themselves.
Okay, great.
Don't think there is an open question right now, unless I'm missing it.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I'm moving along then. Okay, so I told you about those browse modes, and I told you I would come back to that. So here's why those are important. There's another really quick way that users can navigate without using the elements list, without using this guy here. When you're in browse mode, you can just press a letter, like letter H, and it'll jump to the next heading. And in linear sequence, in the order of the page, from top to bottom, without needing to use the element list. So let me do that now. And there's all different keys, like G will take you to the next graphic, D landmark, K links, L list, T tables. So let me
home and link same page
get to kind of the top of the page here.
Disclaimer. Access host home NC.
Okay. Let me just press H and see where we go. Okay, what's going on?
Home NC network menu. Contact
Okay,
US heading
I'm
level
pressing
2.
Shift H. I'm actually going backward. So the letter will take you forward. Shift in the letter takes you backwards. So Shift H.
NC.gov heading level 2.
For some reason that, I guess that's a heading.
Main landmark from the mountains to the coast heading level 2.
And now it's also interesting that that little highlight, that little yellow highlight's not showing up. I I guess that only shows up when I do arrow navigation.
Agriculture heading level 2.
But when I do the heading list, this heading jumping thing, it doesn't.
Governor Stein announces budget to keep North Carolina strong.
There's another heading.
The latest heading level 2.
And then that.
Start exploring NC to
Right.
celebrate. Join team in the
You get the
spotlight
point.
heading level 2. Join team North Carolina.
Now
Celebrate
going
America.
forward.
Start.
So it just gives you a way to just quickly. That might be the first thing the screen reader user does is just H. Let me just get the headings, because visually, when you're looking at a web page, that's typically what draws your eye, right? The big bold text, and sometimes the graphics will grab your attention first, but usually the big bold text grabs your attention and lets you know what's on the page. Okay. So use 1 to 6 to go by a specific heading level. I did not know that. All right. Now, let me show you this next thing, table navigation. How does a user actually browse a table? And I wanted to use an awesome
Digital
page.
expanded.
Sorry, screen reader is going to interrupt me for a minute here while I'm navigating
Digital
to this
comment
page.
new tab for alert. Frame banner land clickable site
Let's
header.
use this awesome page that
List with
that
home
Jen
DC alert. Home
from the Digital Commons team made. I think it's this one.
clickable alert.
Yeah.
Clickable mainland.
Okay, so this page has a whole bunch of data tables with different styles. Here's a very simple one. Just one row of heading, one row of column headers, one data table row. This has a column of headers and a column of data. And then this kind of has a XY kind of two-dimensional set of headers, row headers, column headers. And then this has some call span stuff. So let's read these with the screen reader. So I can press the T key while I'm in browse mode, and it'll jump to the first table. So I'll just press T.
Clickable main landmark list with 5 items table with 2 rows and 5 columns. Row 1 column 1 Monday.
Okay, so it kind of gave me a gist of what's on this table. I don't know why it said clickable. It may have something to do with the data table generator JavaScript plugin thing that we're using. It doesn't really matter. So when I want to navigate this table, this works with NVDA, works with JAWS, probably the other screen readers. If I press Control Alt and then the arrow keys, that's how you navigate inside of a table. So I'm going to press arrow down, which I think is going to take me to this turkey sandwich cell right here. Let's see. Control Alt down.
Row 2 turkey
Yeah.
sandwich on whole grain bread with baked potato chips.
That sounds good. I'm getting hungry. So it said row 2 first, right? And then it read the cell. So I'm gonna go one row to the right, that lasagna row, and let's listen to what. So I'm gonna press Control Alt right arrow.
Tuesday column 2 lasagna with beef and a side of green beans.
Jen, you must have been hungry when you made this. So it said Tuesday column 2, and then it read the data. So that's really important context, right? The reason it said Tuesday is because I changed to a new column, and that column has a column header. This is why column headers are so important. This is why it's so important to mark up data tables properly, to use the TH tag for your column headers and your TDs for your table data. And then if I go again to the right, it'll say Wednesday.
Wednesday column 3 cheese quesadilla with black beans.
And yeah, maybe Kristen, maybe it's clickable because the column headers are sortable. It could be.
Table with 5
So now I
rows
just
and
press T to jump to the next table. And let me go to the
Table
one
with
that's
3
kind of two-dimensional here. We have a row headers and column headers. So let me press Control Alt down arrow.
Row 2 morning.
I guess you always start in that upper left cell, and then I'm going to press right arrow, and I should hear Monday column 2.
Monday column 2 Ron.
And then if I go down, I'm going to hear afternoon row 3 Andy.
Afternoon row 3 Andy. Tuesday column 3 April. Wednesday
Pretty
column
cool,
4.
right? And then when let me go up to the header cell to hear what that says.
Morning row 2 row 1 Wednesday.
So it said row 1's Wednesday. And notice it did not say shifts by day. Okay. So now let me hear what's going to say for that morning cell.
Morning row Tuesday Monday column.
So right here, let's hear what this says.
Shifts by day column 1 morning.
Interesting. So it said shifts by day, morning, right? So what that's telling me is that this is the column header for these cells. It's not the row header for these cells. And that does make sense. So this is a properly built table. And then just one last thing with this table here.
Table with 5.
Let me get into this complex thing just to show you that a screen reader can handle this too.
Row 3 arsenic.
So I'll go to this cell to the right.
2008 to 2009 total samples, column 2 3935.
It read that call spanned column header just fine.
2008 to 2009 samples exceeding
And it
standard.
looks like it read it again as I shifted to the next cell. So pretty cool stuff. And so now I want to jump to a mobile screen reader demo. And while I'm setting that up, Amy, are you able to launch that poll? Oh, perfect. All right. So Amy has a poll. You want to talk through it, Amy?
While John's getting set up, we're just curious which mobile phone operating systems you all have. If you could complete the poll. We have 63, 68 responses.
Okay, awesome. Can you still hear me?
Yes, it looks like iPhone, 63% iPhone, 36% Android, and 1% other.
Okay, and thank you, Amy. And can you still hear me and can you see my phone on my desk here? For some reason I can't see my own camera.
It's
Oh,
a
there we
little
go,
bit
yeah.
blurry, but I can see your phone.
Yeah. Okay, let me try to spotlight me because does this make it a little bit bigger for everyone? You may be able to double click on
It
my
is bigger.
camera.
It is
Yeah, that's bigger.
It got bigger?
It's
Okay,
just the
great,
text on the screen looks slightly blurry.
Yeah.
Like a
Okay,
focus.
yeah. Great. Yeah, so there's not much I can do about the blurriness, but hey, pretend you have low vision because this is a screen reader demo. All right. So, yeah, and if you want to, you may be able to double click on my camera to make this bigger for you so you can see a little bit better. So I have an Android phone, and I am going to turn on Android's screen reader called Talkback. iPhones have one called VoiceOver, so this has one called Talkback. And the best way I found to do it is just call up the assistant, turn on Talkback.
Gemini, drag handle.
Okay.
Double
So
tap and hold to drag window.
can you guys hear that okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So close.
Open the home page button.
Okay.
Double tap to activate. Double tap and hold to launch.
Okay. To shut up the the mobile screen reader, I think you can just touch and hold the screen. All right, so it stopped. So now I'm gonna the way mobile screen reader works is you can swipe through elements, and so let me just do that. So I'm gonna swipe kind of with this gesture here.
Skip to main content link.
And,
Double tap to activate.
Okay, great. So that very first thing, it hit a skip to content link. If you don't know what that is, that's a useful way to just quickly dig into the main content of the page. If I were to activate that link right now, it would skip all this navigation stuff. So that's a accessibility requirement to be able to bypass all this navigation. But for the sake of this demo, let me just keep swiping through.
Tax scam alert. Inside header. Beware. Messages asking you to click a link or provide information to get your state tax refund. NCDIT will never text you about your refund.
A lot of annoying stuff here.
Read more. Beware of fake text messages ask. An official website of NC.
Okay, you're kind of getting the point, right?
Collapsed. How you know button. Double tap to activate. Actions available. Use tap with 3 fingers to view.
Okay, and it's giving me some instructions there at the end there. So it said double tap to activate. So that's typically what you typically do is you swipe through the elements, And then if you get to an element that you want to start to interact with, you double tap. So let me maybe go to that search field.
Reset language to English button. Language collapsed. Select language menu pop-up button. Home link. Double tap to activate.
Interesting there that it said home link. It didn't say nc.gov. I probably would have written an accessibility issue about that.
Collapsed. Toggle navigation button. Double tap to activate. Actions available. Use tap with 3 fingers to view.
Okay.
Search. Out of sight header.
So there's some hidden text there that says search. That's not actually the search box. And now listen, it should play a sound effect when I get into the search field, I believe.
Enter the terms you wish to search for. How do I search
didn't.
text field? Search.
Yeah,
Enter.
it is playing a
Search.
sound effect. So that little like clicky sound is telling me that it's a form field, right?
Enter the terms you
Double
wish
click.
to search for. How do I search text field?
Okay.
Double tap to edit text.
Okay, so I'm going to double tap and it should pull up my keyboard.
Enter the terms you wish to search for. How do I search text field?
Great.
Showing English. USQWERTY.
It's just telling me my screen reader, my keyboard popped up and it's the QWERTY format. And you know, I can
Capital D. R.
type what I want. So let me just dismiss that
Back button.
and kind of get to the next thing that I wanted to show you. Another thing that you can do is you can touch and hold and drag, and it'll kind of tell you what's under your finger.
Popular. Get unemployment help. Find unclaimed property. Search button. Home and official. Home link. Language. Language.
So that might
Text stamp.
be another way that a screen reader user, you know, wants to find something on the page, or maybe it's not showing up in the swipe order for some reason, or maybe it's
sorry, you know, I am.
out of the swipe order. Was there a comment there? Maybe someone just accidentally on mute. Okay, so then another thing that I want to show you is you can navigate. Remember how I showed you in NVDA, there was that list of elements. You can see the headings and the links and the buttons. So you can do that too on a mobile screen reader. And VoiceOver kind of has this gesture. This is Talkback, but VoiceOver has this gesture where you like turn like you're turning a knob, and it pulls up this thing they call the rotor, and that rotor lets you switch through like headings, buttons, links. But for Talkback, it's this 3-finger swipe gesture. So if I take 3 fingers and swipe like this,
Paragraphs. Lines. Words. Characters. Speech rate. Screen search. Links.
there's the links,
Controls.
and then
Headings.
there's finally heading.
Swipe up or swipe down to read by headings.
So now it just told me swipe up or swipe down to read by heading. So if I swipe like this,
Popular topics.
now I'm
Heading
going
2.
through headings.
In the spotlight. Heading 2. Join Team North Carolina. Celebrate America 250
Now
NC heading
I
three
want to
links.
show you something funny
Double
that
tap to active.
when I was testing
Celebrate America 2.
when I was testing this earlier, I found a funny issue.
Controls.
Wait a minute. Oh gosh.
Headings. Join Team North Carolina. Celebrate America 2. Start exploring and Governor Stein
Skip
announced
that
budget to
heading.
keep North Carolina strong. Heading 3.
So it skipped that heading that was up there. And if I go, let's see, keep going down.
Governor's. The latest.
Now
Heading
it
2.
jumped back up to the heading. So there's like kind of a reading order issue there. And a screen reader user might not realize that
Governor
that's a
Stein
press
announces
release
budget to keep North. The latest.
because
Heading
of
2.
the screen reader order or because of the swipe order. I probably confused you by how I went back and forth, but just that's really all I wanted to show you with the mobile screen reader. So it's kind of this swipe gesture, and you're swiping through everything. You're hitting screen text, you're hitting headings, you're hitting graphics, and then you're also going to hit buttons and links and form fields in that swipe order. So that's really important to have that swipe order be meaningful. Like I said, like you're going down an elevator, top to bottom. And then I also wanted to show you double tap to activate. You can touch and hold and drag and explore the page. You can navigate by heading lists. And let me show you one last thing that I found that I thought was really cool. Let me go back to
North. April 20th.
see how the reading order is really funny. Oh, I'm going the wrong way actually.
Andre, the April 20th.
See how it's going up and down? That's very. I'm going in one direction, but it's going up and down. That's the screen reader reading order issue.
A few join. Start April 20.
There was this photo I
Governor
wanted it to find. Where was that
Press-
photo? Maybe the website
North Carolina,
changed.
April 20. Andre the Giant to be.
Oh, another thing that's interesting
View all
too
press
is
releases
that
greater than.
oh yeah, if you
Double tap to activate.
okay,
View all press releases.
I
View
can't
all press releases greater
I
than.
can't get it to
link.
shut up. So
Double
when
tap to
you
activate.
scroll with 2 fingers, that's how you can actually scroll the page. And you hear that pitch change? Isn't that pitch, that little pitch change? Maybe you can't hear it, but it tells you kind of how far down the page you are. See how it's kind of going up in pitch? Pretty cool. That's going down in pitch. But I wanted to show you this graphic right here.
Start exploring and see
So
North Carolina.
when
is home to many state parks.
so talk,
Celebrate America's
gosh, I
50th
can't get it to stop. So when Talkback has this other feature where you can tap with 3 fingers,
Talkback menu.
and it gives me this menu
Double tap to activate.
where I can do a whole bunch of stuff in here. I can describe the image, which that's what I want to show you, or describe the screen, do some other stuff, search the screen, hide the screen. Let's say I was in a public setting and I was just like, I don't know who's standing behind me. I'm about to put my SSN in. You can hide the screen, do some other stuff. But I wanted to show you this cool feature for this image behind here. So if I double tap, that'll activate. I don't have to double tap this. I can double tap anywhere, and that activates that.
Image description. The image contains a block of text on a white background. The text is in a sans serif font and is arranged in 4 lines. The text reads,
Okay, wait a minute.
close.
That's not the image I was trying to get to read. I'm trying to get to read.
Start
this
exploring and see.
Oh,
Text
whoops.
copy.
Okay. Double tap 3 fingers. I'm sorry, I'm kind of new to this, but double tapping 3 fingers just took a screenshot. So one single tap.
Talkback menu. Describe image.
The image. Now it's going to describe that.
Image description. The image shows a family hiking on a rocky trail surrounded by trees. The family consists of 2 adults and 2 children. They are all smiling and appear to be enjoying their outing. The text below the image reads, start exploring and see today. North Carolina is home to many state parks as well as world-class museums and many historic sites. Looking for something to do? Start
Kinda wild,
exploring
right?
today. In horizontal pager. Actions available.
So
Start with 3 fingers to view.
that was pretty good description. It's kind of funny. Earlier this morning, it described it a little bit differently. But you know, it's very cool that that's something that it can do. But I want to say it's no excuse for writing alt text and actually giving the image alt text, because that is way too much information. You know, like the AI, I think this is Google Gemini trying to describe that. And it's just kind of trying to give me every single detail that it possibly can about that image. But, you know, if you're writing alt text, it might not be, you might not add that amount of detail, you know.
John, we have
just
a
kind of
couple.
interesting.
We have a
Sure.
couple questions in here. I know we're
Okay.
getting close to time.
Yeah.
Sarah Hook says, when you swipe over the keys, will it read the keys aloud? And the second part is, or is there an option or open to talk to text?
So when you swipe over the key, the keys in the keyboard, yeah, like so it's kind of wild. Like, in my experience, what I've found is users who use screen readers on phones, they know the keyboard so well, and they can actually tap and text. And when they get a new phone, they're thrown off because their muscle memory is so tuned to that screen size. So you can tap and text. You can also drag and hover over the keys, and I'm pretty sure you can swipe through letter by letter by letter by letter. But let me turn Talkback off. Turn Talkback off. If that answers that question. And what was the second part of the question there?
Or is there an open to talk to text? I think you kind of touched on that.
Okay.
That might be option, talk to text. But Ben follows up with a question and says, if you hide the screen, how do you unhide the screen?
Hey, that's a good. I don't know. I'm not brave enough to try that. But I'm sure you could Google it. Or someone in the chat could answer. I would not want to hide the screen. I mean, I think that like you can control most phones by just speaking to it, you know, so a lot of times I'll just call up the assistant and say whatever I want it to do, whatever setting I want it to change. Any other questions? All right. Well, I hope this was helpful today. And we'll be posting this recording on YouTube to share it out. And I would say go try a screen reader. Go get NVDA if you can. It's free. You can try narrator too. I just know that most people prefer NVDA over narrator. And if you're on Mac, get voiceover. And if you're feeling really brave, you can try a mobile screen reader, but make sure you know how to turn it off first. All right. Any last words, Amy?
No? Thank you for that presentation. It's very enlightening.
Sure. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.